Hello everyone. Today in this video we talk about the role, the purpose, the extent of government and law. Um, I think this is a text that should be required reading in political theory class across the country, but it isn't. It isn't. So you got to seek it out on your own. Otherwise, you will never find it. So the um, the argument is going to be coming from his work, Frederick Bastiat from the 19th century. Um, from this book in particular, we're going to be looking at the first few parts of the text, and that's where he basically describes our argument. It's pretty simple. It's pretty simple to grasp, and I think you will find an answer there, which you could perhaps be content with. So we're going to look into the text. I'm just going to read it out verbatim. So the first part is called "Life is a Gift from God." We hold from God the gift which includes all others. This gift is life, physical, intellectual, and moral life. But life cannot maintain itself alone. The Creator of life has entrusted us with the responsibility of preserving, developing, and perfecting it. In order that we may accomplish this, He has provided us with a collection of marvelous faculties, and He has put us in the midst of a variety of natural resources. By the application of our faculties to these natural resources, we convert them into products and use them. This process is necessary in order that life may run its appointed course. Life, faculties, production. In other words, individuality, liberty, property. This is man. And in spite of the cunning of artful political leaders, these three gifts from God precede all human legislation and are superior to it. Life, liberty, and property do not exist because men have made laws. On the contrary, it was the fact that life, liberty, and property existed beforehand that caused men to make laws in the first place. What is law? What then is law? It is the collective organization of the individual right to lawful defense. Each of us has a natural right from God to defend his person, his liberty, and his property. These are the three basic requirements of life, and the preservation of any one of them is completely dependent upon the preservation of the other two. For what are our faculties but the extension of our individuality, and what is property but an extension of our faculties? If every person has the right to defend, even by force, his person, his liberty, and his property, then it follows that a group of men have the right to organize and support a common force to protect these rights constantly. Thus, the principle of collective right, its reason for existing, its lawfulness is based on individual right. And the common force that protects this collective right cannot logically have any other purpose or any other mission than that for which it acts as a substitute. Thus, since an individual cannot lawfully use force against the person, liberty, or property of another individual, then the common force, for the same reason, cannot lawfully be used to destroy the person, liberty, or property of individuals or groups. Such a perversion of force would be, in both cases, contrary to our premise. Force has been given to us to defend our own individual rights. Who will dare to say that force has been given to us to destroy the equal rights of our brothers? Since no individual acting separately can lawfully use force to destroy the rights of others, does it not logically follow that the same principle also applies to the common force, that is nothing more than the organized combination of the individual forces? If this is true, then nothing can be more evident than this. The law is the organization of the natural right of lawful defense, It is the substitution of a common force for individual forces, and this common force is to do only what the individual forces have a natural and lawful right to do, to protect persons, liberties, and properties, to maintain the right of each, and to cause justice to reign over us all. Alright, so this is the next part. So, in chapter 1. Man can live and satisfy his wants only by ceaseless labor, by the ceaseless application of his faculties to natural resources. This process is the origin of property, or the accumulation of property. But it's also true that a man may live and satisfy his wants by seizing and consuming the products of the labor of others. This process is the origin of plunder. Now, since man is naturally inclined to avoid pain, and since labor is pain in itself, it follows that men will resort to plunder whenever plunder is easier than work. History shows this quite clearly, and under these conditions, neither religion nor morality can stop it. When then does plunder stop? It stops when it becomes more painful and more dangerous than labor. It is evident then that the proper purpose of law is to use the power of its collective force to stop this fatal tendency to plunder instead of to work. All the measures of the law should protect property and punish plunder. All right, so hopefully the that see why is this work? Just a second. All right, so hopefully that directed you with an answer. I don't know if it was an answer you'd be content with, but nonetheless, let's try to uh, um, assess what the premise was, what the points were. Right, that is that when a man is born, you know, just by himself considered, you know, just by the mere sake of him being born, he has the he has the he has the right to his body, but also the living space beyond his body, right? It's where he will move around, but also what he appropriates. You know, if a man picks a potato out of the ground, if a man, tills some land, if a man chops down a tree, if a man picks an apple off the tree, he's appropriating, you know? So this man has the right, those three fundamental rights, right? And so he has to try to defend them, but it may be he may be better off by joining up with this group here, and then they can um, defend together. So whoever does anything of the sort of plunder, then you got to be punished. It's almost like how NATO operates, I guess, right? If, no, 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 never mind. That's something different. Maybe that's for a different video. But but yeah, I hope the text answered the question, and hope you enjoyed the video, and like, subscribe, share.